My name is Abraham Rivera, and I've been teaching at John Jay College for over 10 years. I have over 31 years of professional cybersecurity experience, 26 of those in New York City government, 5 within private sector. I've been teaching for over 24 years and hold over 32 cybersecurity related certifications. I was a sworn law enforcement officer for 12 years, and currently I am the incident commander for New York City's OTI Cyber Command, where I handle all the high profile and high severity incidents for New York City government. Please feel free to reach out to me via Twitter or LinkedIn. All right, this webinar will define and provide examples of crime as a service, describe malware and malware as a service, and identify where they can be found and downloaded on the ClearNet and dark web, identify the types of threat actors that provide malware as a service and types of payments provided for this service, discuss tactics, techniques, and procedures, also known as TTPs, threat actors use to compromise a network, including the use of a playbook, explain the methods used to track and identify threat actors, and demonstrate how malware as a service is marketed, advertised, sold, and distributed. Crime as a service is defined as a criminal organization that supplies goods and services for sale, rent, or hire. For our purposes, we will use the term threat actor or even affiliate to refer to any cyber criminal, group, or organization, regardless of their skill set. Although we're focused primarily on malware as a service for this webinar, we want to call out that there are other common types of crimes that are termed as a service. But first, let's get to some reasons why this actually exists. The affiliate may not have the technical expertise for that given service. They may already be on a sanctioned list and need to hide themselves behind an affiliate. They may have specialties in the other areas of the criminal enterprise, such as targeting and communicating with victims, setting ransom demands, providing the hands-on keyboard for initial access, and performing any of the objectives, which can include anything from encrypting, deleting, and exfiltrating data, handling payments, or providing the technical infrastructure that the affiliates will use. Right. So now let's get into the other types of as a service. Ransomware as a service is when affiliates pay operators to launch ransomware attacks. Phishing as a service is the provisioning of phishing kits that include email and website templates of potential targets. DDoS as a service is the distributed knowledge service of target after the purchaser provides all the particulars. Access as a service is when the access to end-to-end hacking tools that can be used by the purchaser in illegal operations. Hacker as a service is targeted operations run by the hacker after the purchaser provides all particulars. And lastly, and the topic of this webinar, malware as a service is when threat actors sell or rent malware to other affiliates. Malware stands for malicious software. There are several ways that malware can affect a computer, phone, or other device, such as a threat actor exploiting a known or unknown vulnerability, a user clicking on a link or attachment found in a phishing email, a user accessing a malicious website and installing malware unknowingly via drive-by download, an insider threat, a disgruntled employee, a spy, or user wanting to monetize their credentials. Some of the common use cases for malware types include living off the land binaries, commodity malware, and custom malware. Living off the land binaries, also known as LOL bins, are basically all the inherent binaries that are part of the operating system. The use of PowerShell, Python, or the command prompt doesn't always mean they're malicious in nature, but the fact that they can be makes them dangerous. In fact, a well-known attack vector for malware is PowerShell, which is a scripting language that the Windows operating system relies on heavily for everyday operations. Python, which is the general purpose programming language, is used to create different types of programs, is also another known attack vector for malware, as it can enable the threat actor to exfiltrate data to a command and control server. Commodity malware is malware that is widely available for free or for sale. It's non-targeted and easier to detect. Custom malware is used for a very specific purpose. It's targeted and therefore harder to detect. Most of you may know or heard about the majority of these malicious threats. So of these, two of the most common I get asked about are malvertising and farming. So those are what we'll focus on. Malvertising is the use of online advertising to spread malware by injecting itself into a legitimate online advertisement on a web page. This can lead to initial infection vector, such as a drive-by download. Farming is a malware attack that's intended to redirect the website's traffic to another fake site without the user intervening. And this is different than what we would consider a typical phish, in which the user would have to initiate the click to the URL or open the attachment. Forums and chat services are the most common platforms for threat actors to share hacking resources. Threat actors use message boards and chats to post messages based on malware exploits, vulnerabilities, carding, access sales, credential database leaks, marketplace, and tutorials. Cracked was launched in 2013. It has over 3 million users and over 17 million posts. Node was launched in 2015, has over 4.5 million users and over 35 million posts. Breached was launched more recently in March of 2022, and it has become a replacement for raid forums, as raid forums was seized by the government back in January of 2022. Researchers have confirmed that all the dumps that existed on raid forums are now available on Breached. And as of August of 2022, there are over 82,000 users and over 205,000 posts. Telegram and Discord are being used by threat actors to deliver malware to steal information via automated bots to include credentials, card information, and passwords. Telegram has over 700 million users, and Discord has over 150 million. Tox, which is a peer-to-peer instant message platform, has been used recently by threat actors to communicate between ransomware groups and their victims. In regards to where we can find malware or any threats that are in the wild, we can go to any of these threat research-oriented sites. Keep in mind that the threat actors also use these sites to perform their own research, download, analyze, modify existing malware, determine if a company or organization they recently compromised is aware of their malware. An example would be if a company uploaded malware that was used on them onto VirusTotal, which companies should never do, by the way. Or determine if their own malware has been reverse engineered, whereby they may need to alter their own TTPs. The list here includes Bazaar, URL House, the Zoo, Packet Total Malware Archive, and Malware Traffic Analysis. The dark web can be accessed by any of the following software, the most popular being the Onion Router browser or the Tor browser, I2P, which is the Invisible Internet Project, or Freenet. And if you notice, some of these are categorized as peer-to-peer platform or a client-server platform. Well, the peer-to-peer platform is when every host has both the client and server capabilities, right? So you may have used these types of networks in the past if you ever used BearShare, LimeWire, or more recently, if you ever used any of the flavors of BitTorrent. A client-server platform is the one that we're probably most familiar with, as your host normally plays the client, right? And you're accessing a server to provide for those services, right? So many of us are using a browser to access the HTTP service. Similar to ClearNet, the actual ClearNet forums that we discussed in the previous slide, the darknet forums in general are usually more challenging to access and monitor, as forum owners and users are more protective to hide their own identities. XSS, which is the acronym for cross-site scripting vulnerability, was launched in 2013 and is a closed Russian-speaking forum created to share knowledge about exploits, vulnerabilities, malware, and network penetration. Exploit was launched back in 2005, is English and Russian speaking, and has over 75,000 users and over 1 million posts. Dread was launched in 2018, is a Tor-based Reddit-like dark web forum, features professional hacking posts, in-depth guides and hacking, and as well as software carding. We the North is a Canada-only marketplace offering escrow services with premium support. It's English and French speaking. It supports Bitcoin and Monero and provides customer support 24/7. Vice City is a medium-sized marketplace that opened in 2020, has attracted dedicated customers and vendors due to its customer service. It has a reasonable $300 vendor bond, which provides a low entry point for newer vendors. These crimes are normally committed by nation-state actors, such as Hafnium from China, Oil Rig from Iran, Lazarus from North Korea, and Nobelium from Russia. Hafnium was known for exploiting on-prem exchange servers just a couple of years ago. Oil Rig carries out supply chain attacks, taking advantage of the trust relationships between companies to attack their primary targets. Lazarus was known for the 2017 WannaCry ransomware attack and are very active today, resulting in data exfiltration or disruptive type of operations. Nobelium was known for the 2020 SolarWinds supply chain attack. Organized criminal networks are traditional criminal networks involved in money laundering, drugs and gun smuggling, and human trafficking that use computers to hide, fund, and monetize their activities. Hackers for hire pose as legitimate companies or consultants for hire to target either a company or an individual. Unskilled individual actors take advantage of the ease and use and relative affordability of malware-as-a-service or any other crime activity as a service, which allows anyone at any skill level to compromise a vulnerable network.